All right, we back. Sorry about that, people, but we are back in it. And yeah, I can relate to what you're talking about myself. I happen to do a little stint myself, and it's one of those things like never in my life would I have ever imagined that I would have been in prison. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do no super time. 4 years was enough. Shit, 10 minutes is enough. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up doing like 4 years, and even that short amount of time affected me mentally, like seriously affected me. I tell my wife sometimes that it's like prison is like having after you've been in prison, it's like having a little black stain on your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a certain level of things that you are no longer afraid of. You know what I'm saying? I ain't afraid of the police. I'm like, I feel like if I get locked up, just lock me up, take me, bro. I ain't got time to talk to you. I don't want to talk about shit. Let's go. Then there's the side of it where, okay, if I fuck up, well, fuck it, then I'm going all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna, it is what it is. If I'm going to jail, I'm gonna go to jail for something, for real. But I'm saying I don't think like that now. You know what I mean?
Questions out.
Yeah.
We mature now.
Yeah. But I know that how I felt when I came out, and just readjusting to things, because prison life is a different. There's a whole different set of rules. There's a whole different set of shit and stuff that you wouldn't even imagine, and what that does to you mentally when you come out. Not to mention your family, because they're doing time with you. You know what I mean? And so they're going through shit on the outside that you couldn't even begin to understand, because they're on the inside. You know what I'm saying? And on the inside, when we're on the inside, a lot of times we get really selfish with that shit too, because we feel like we owed something. Like, man, I'm sitting here, I need letters, I need this, I need that, and we don't realize that life is moving outside of prison and outside of that, and just this shit. But what happened? It's fucked up. Well, fuck it. Well, I mean, I don't know what I can, but anyways, you understand what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean? There's a lot to it. I'm not saying that any of it's right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying that there is a lot to it, and there is a whole lot of static. But
Yeah.
still muscle through it. Fuck it. I'm gonna try to work through it over here and listen at the same time. But yeah, I feel like you guys understand where I'm coming from.
The thing, right? When we're talking about one in Mason Circle,
There you go, right there.
Bethany spoke about the 360, right? So
Yeah.
He said 360, but we understood what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The universe.
Yeah.
The creator of the universe that is going to pay you back tenfold, whether it's good or bad. We might perceive it as being good or bad, but it's just the universe is paying us back. And one of the individuals that's here, Raylan, was one of my sellers once upon a time in prison.
Right.
And Gerardo happened to be my co-defendant in my case.
Right.
So to see the beauty of when recovery and going beyond, like she said, the recovery part, which is the essence, the meat of the bone, but giving us the chances for us to be able to show that recovery goes beyond the substance abuse.
Sorry about that. But all the mics are good now. We're good to go.
All
So
right.
no more static. Yeah. All right. So with that, now that's over with. You know what I'm saying? We can keep
all right,
pushing.
So we talking about it, man. We already went into everything. We talked about Win Recovery and everything that they've done. And as y'all know, man, y'all follow the check-in every single week. We always have a topic that we're gonna talk about, and I think this week's topic, it goes very hand in hand with our co-hosts who are here tonight. So the topic for tonight is what are the effects of
prison?
mental health?
Yeah,
What are
prison has on
the mental health effects of being in prison?
Right.
And I'm talking about the mental health effects that the people that were in prison went through, the family members of the people that were in prison went through, the friends. We're talking about everybody. So we're not just talking about the people that were in prison. We want to talk about every single situation.
Right.
And we've got some people off camera. We've got Dana in the building. Pass Dana the mic. We got Dana in the building. Dana, introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Dana.
Talking to the mic.
Oh, I'm Dana. I was listening to
What's up, Dana?
Hey Ray, how you doing?
I'm alright.
I was thinking about a lot of times as I hear people's story about mental health and in prison. Sometimes I feel kind of on the outs because my situation was a little different. Um, I was put in an institution from at a young age, from like 1984 to 1990, right? So I was almost 20 when I got out, and I didn't have any living skills. And so then, I basically, there was other skills, right, that I learned in those places. And so I came out and hit the streets real hard. And, then I had a couple bouts in prison. And I was the one who, when I look back, uh, maybe not my first bit, but what really felt the freest and was a best version of myself in prison. And so, uh, I really didn't know how to cope or to live outside
Right.
because I had spent so much time. And my time was usually max. I was always the one, or in SEG, in the jail, within the jail. People who've been to prison know about the jail within the jail. Because, I didn't really act very well.
Right. Didn't play well with others.
I didn't play well with others.
Yeah.
I came with a whole mess of behaviors. And, I grew up in that life. So I wasn't ever taught anything different. And so at the end of, the second bit, I remember that was a short bit. That was a 3-year bit. And so I panicked, right, the day before my release date. And I jumped on somebody in the yard line because I was hoping they was going to take my uncle as he was scared of me. And so IA knew what was going on, and they kicked me out anyway. And so I returned 3 weeks later, with an armed robbery and did 11 for that. And so, but all them years being young,
Oh shit! Flag up the charges and just start battling.
I didn't, I didn't have any family support. There was no visits, there was no mail, there was no money. So, the street lifestyle came natural because I had to do what I had to do. It was a means to survive. I battled a long time with people, and I met Bethany when Bethany got clean. And it's kind of funny to talk about in the recovery because she's one of the people that came along after me, but spent a great deal of time and a lot of effort, many times, trying to help me. I was in the first Champagne House in 2019, and I realized I've been in her house 3 times. Right? Yeah.
No, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So let's get into the topic. Dana, thank you so much for being here. We've got some other people I've guessed as well. Can we pass the mic to them so they can introduce themselves as well? And we're gonna get him on camera in a second. We're gonna get him on camera in a second.
This is Marcelo De Jesus Jr. Impacted by my father's story, and you guys will hear more about that in a little bit.
That's what's up, brother. We're gonna tune in with you in a
Hey
second,
man,
Marcelo.
hey, hold on, man. Chill out. This ain't a radio show. Like you're like being.
No,
like
I'm
real,
making.
I
I'm
know, but like let the flow just flow, bro. For real.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Well, like I said, yeah, this is Marcelo De Jesus Jr. I'm here with Win Recovery, here to represent community relations coordinator, and yeah, you'll hear more about our story and the upbringing of being impacted as a child of someone who was in the system and the trauma that comes with that.
What? What? I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't know. Whatever,
Yeah,
man.
we're gonna get to Marcelo.
But
Marcelo.
we got other people.
We're definitely good. Yeah, we want to introduce everybody. So that's why I was trying to get the mic to everybody that's in the room, everybody that's physically here. We got Marcelo Jr., we got Dana in the building as well. We're going to get Marcelo Jr. in on the camera in a little bit after we get through the topic of the show. But we got Raymond in the building. Gerardo, we introduced them a second ago. Raymond, let's do a quick.
No, Ray Land. No, you ain't got it correct.
Raylan, sorry about that, brother.
No worries, no worries.
Just so the people that are watching know what you're. If you could give a quick backstory on yourself, real quick, and we'll do the same with Gerardo after.
Real quick, at 18 years of age, I was tried and convicted of first-degree murder and concealment of an homicide, and it cost me 28 years, 7 months, and 25 days of my life. I'm a recently released incarcerated citizen. Been out 5 months. Ain't no word in the English language been invented to explain how I feel. I'm working for this beautiful organization called Win Recovery. I get to help a marginalized population that's further marginalized. You know, I was boxed in my whole life, so I know what it's like to have a voice and not have someone hear you. And it's just a wonderful feeling to do the things that I do for this organization. And I'm going to pass it to Root.
Oh, that's what's up, brother.
That's what's up, brother.
Yo, what's up? My name is Gerardo Gonzalez. Most of my friends and people that I grew up with know me as Rude. I've been incarcerated my whole life. Since I was a juvenile, I've been in and out of the system. Just not nothing I'm proud of, but it is my reality, right? My first incarceration happened when I was 12 years old. Later on, I caught this case with Marcelo De Jesus. I got 3 attempt murders and got 25 years, and nobody was even hospitalized, right? So when you talk about transitioning into society, I've been transitioning my whole life because I've been in the system, right? And being in the system, I saw the different phases of the system. Like my first incarceration was in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So I seen how the system was then, to then how the system was in the early 2000s, and then how the system is currently now. Because I'm just like Raylan, I'm just recently released. Matter of fact, I couldn't be there right now because I got a house arrest band on, right? So when you talk about impact and how the system impacted you, like I'm continuously impacted. It was rough in there, but it's even rougher now out here. Like here recently, I'm trying to rent an apartment, rent a house, trying to get my family into a better situation, and I can't do so because they do background checks. The system continuously impacts somebody. You know what I'm saying? It don't just stop when because you can't get a job. It don't just stop because of the trauma that one goes through, all the stuff that one goes through. Like I'm out here dumbfounded because I barely know how to use a phone. I barely know how to use a phone. I barely know how to use a computer. They don't teach you none of these type of things in there, or they seldomly teach you these type of things in there. But that's just the minute stuff. The harsher stuff is living. Like how is somebody supposed to make a way for themselves when they can't even have somewhere that's a proper, habitat for themselves and for their family. Like they try to marginalize us in and keep us in certain communities so that we can only rent in certain places. You know what I'm saying? And it's like impact is a motherfucker, man. Like I'm steady going through it every day.
Well, that's
but on the brighter side, that there's not. On the brighter side of that, I did take advantage of every educational opportunity that was presented to me while I was incarcerated. I did what I did because it was my way to fight against the system. I'm a high-profile gang member. I came into the system with like a X on my back with them people already because they had me profiled as a high-ranking gang member. So because of that, I couldn't get jobs while I was incarcerated. I never had a job while I was locked up. And if I did have a job while I was in there, it didn't last more than a few months, and they'll snatch it away from me. So the one thing that I could do was get education. Because of my education, I was able to come home and link up with my co-defendant, and he told me, he spoke to me about what Win Recovery was doing, and asked me to come in for an interview. And I thank Bethany, like from the bottom of my heart, because nobody's ever given me a chance. Nobody's ever believed in me. Nobody's ever thought that I could do something positive with myself. You know what I'm saying? But she did. But she did. She believed in me. She gave me an opportunity, and now I'm passionate about helping her in the cause and fighting for what we got to do to stop all this systemic racism, to stop all the marginalized and oppression that unfortunately has been a generational thing. Because like we still see the same issues that Dr. King, Malcolm X, that Jose Campos, that all of these people were fighting for. We still see this today. You know what I'm saying? And it's 50 years from the day that they was fighting for these issues. You know? And like I said, I'm just happy to be on board and get on. What the hell?
I can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing he's saying.
Because it was on just a minute ago. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's going on, but
Okay, I got you now. You got echo.
all right. But I tell everybody when they, I know. I just got an email and a message that I'm looking at it right now. But I had literally got myself out of that shit. But I tell everybody that gets incarcerated, man, do yourself a favor and go figure that shit out, because ain't nobody really gonna help you but yourself. And you have to take that time, and you got nothing but time in there anyway. So you have to take it upon yourself. But one of the other things that I also say too is know what you like. If you did something, motherfucker, morally, take what you get. If you feel like you really didn't do some shit or you didn't do whatever, man, stand up for yourself. Don't bend over, don't fold, don't do nothing, don't take a plea bargain, don't do none of that shit. Fight like your life, because your life does depend on it. And so, yeah, with that being said, I wanted to ask you, number one, how does it feel to hear those kind of accolades from people that you've helped in this situation? And also, two-part question. As far as the mental health side, because I'm sure at this point you've heard everything under the sun. Like somebody will come in there, some of them will feed you some bullshit, some of them feed you some truth. You know what I'm saying? How do you, even yourself mentally, divide that shit into the right one, the wrong one? Or you just like, okay, fuck it, I'm taking everybody the fuck in, and we'll figure it out when we figure it out.
I go a lot on. I just go a lot on. When meeting people, I guess me being in, I can't even explain. I go off of my own experience, and I can tell when people are genuine, but I do have the compassion and tend to sometimes trust individuals that I can't always trust. But a lot of the time, when it comes to being able to recognize the passion and what in my passion, I can recognize that right off the bat.
Right.
But when it comes to the mental health stuff and me meeting people or the women coming into the program and stuff like that, you know, I have the educational side and I have, you know, the street side, the recovery side, whatever. So I'm able to identify some manipulating that shit. You know, I'm able to identify. I can see the mental part more than likely, and it's just me being able to understand both of those parts and how they work together for me to be able to help. But you have to recognize it on an individual level. All those programs out there, all those houses out there, the reentry part, they look at it as if we are a cookie cutter type of individuals, and so that's why people don't get help. You know, so I don't know if I answered the question.
No, that was dope. That was dope. But look, yeah, I gotta, I'm gonna put it up there. So the dude really unprofessional. Wow, not a good look at all the dude with the yellow. I'm assuming that's me. I don't know what I was doing as unprofessional, but it's whatever. But yeah, no, you totally answered the question. But like even for you, Marcelo, what do you feel like the mental aspect or the biggest hurdle that you may have had coming out mentally, after being incarcerated for that amount of time?
Let me address something real fast. And I appreciate what you just did because that's my stepdaughter.
Oh, okay.
She's 13 years old.
Okay.
So she's not grown, so I understand why she's
Oh.
angry. But I appreciate you not turning around and cursing her out.
Oh, no. That's one of the things on the show. We take full accountability for everything. So if I'm not here to offend anybody by no means. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody has something to say, go ahead, speak it, say it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Keep it straight.
Yeah, keep it 1,000 out all the time.
My experience, the way I see us go, what she didn't tell you is that when she decided that enough was enough, when she decided that she was going to get clean, that she was going to fight for her children, that she was going to help others clean themselves, is that she started from her own home, her apartment.
Right.
A two-bedroom apartment with 4 children. So when you take an individual that has the humanity to decide that I don't just want to clean myself, but I want to help the community clean themselves too, so we can get rid of all this evil. Now, recognize it, being from the streets, recognize it, being book smart, academically, it gives you a balance. So me being the first one out of the 5 individuals that she later, including my son, is that individuals recognize when motherfuckers being bullshit.
Right.
And I apologize to my stepdaughter. But the fact is that, you know what she calls me? A big teddy bear. And the savior.
Right.
Because I always come for the rescue of my team.
Right.
Because the way I see it is that whatever my teammate is lacking, I might be able to help. And wherever I'm lacking, they might be able to help.
Right.
And that's the case back to the captain.
Right.
When you got a coach, and a coach knows the plays that's going to be played in a game. So when a coach already got the book, the blue book.
The blueprint.
The blueprint. Yes. And I don't know what they call it in sports, but I mean, I got the
Playbook, yeah.
That she understands, that he understands, or they understand that what you bring to the table, I see it coming from a mile away.
Right.
And thus far, every single individual that she done brought to the team, all delivered.
Right. The reason I asked that question, too, this is the both. The reason I asked that is because sometimes people someone will come into a situation, and just the fact that they have some mental health issues may come across as bullshit. It may come across as, oh, they're trying to run some game right now. You know what I mean? How do you differentiate the truth? You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's coming in and they're, you know, like I said, it may sound like bullshit, but maybe they're suffering from, you know, serious depression or bipolarism or whatever the case may be, and they just have never received any help. You know what I mean? How do you differentiate that? Like, okay, this, you know, you might think like, oh, this person's full of shit, but maybe they're not. You're like, how do you know what I'm saying? How do you make that call? Like,
Well, I really don't turn down. I mean, we're talking more on an employment type side, but on the when recovery and the women that, you know, come into our program or the individuals, it's more so just I try to just give everybody a chance.
yeah,
And it's hard because you don't know.
right.
The one that you think, you know, I've learned through recovery is you can't level. I mean, you can't judge a level of somebody's desperation to get clean or to, you know, or to get back on their feet. And that's not my place. And so I just try to help as many people as possible. And so you have to gamble. You have to make yourself vulnerable.
There you go.
That's the word, vulnerable. Yes.
Vulnerability is a key thing, and shit, we say it all the time on the show. Vulnerability and accountability are so key into everything. You know what I mean? What's your take on that? Like about what she's saying.
The thing is this, is that when you come to a workplace that give you the ability to be yourself and be able for you to demonstrate your skills, both academically and streetwise,
Right.
and at the same time while giving you to be
Right.
vulnerable, while giving you that place. I remember one time, and I'm not gonna say no names, say what was said, but I remember we had an experiment, and I remember I think Raylan was just there. I think it was a few weeks, probably a month, and my son Marcelo Jr. was there probably a week, and set in this training, and in the center where we at is pretty nice. Like I always say, my office is in our center, not our center is in our office place. That's the coolest thing, that we got a place that will serve people, the community in the south side. However, we also got our offices located in the center.
Right.
Now, you're sitting in a circle, and you allowing yourself openly be yourself. When you provide this, then you telling me you're my friend.
Right.
You telling me that you are accepting me for what I bring to the table. So that is, in a sense, the balance that you're talking about.
Right.
That let us be vulnerable. Let us speak about what really is going on, so like I can understand you better.
Right.
And that meeting wasn't supposed to go. Like, honestly, it was a staff meeting, and I was like, what the hell they need to be doing and stuff. But I asked them, why are you here, you know? And it just turned into that. And so by the time we were done, it was so mentally and emotionally draining, because you feel people's pain, you know, and their suffering and stuff. It was just like, never mind, forget the meat, we were drained. And it was nice to have an environment that you can do that. So yeah.
Yeah, Shy City Cedar says, I've learned right in my family to look through the communication and see the need without the judgment. No room for that ever. Yeah, I hear that. Like,
Sure. Can we get into the topic?
yeah, we are in there.
We are in the topic. But we said we're gonna transition into it. And hit the topic. So anybody that's out there, man, and we'll take a turn around the table. But you know, we want to know what your guys' view on what is the effect of mental health from being incarcerated. And everybody here can speak on it, man. So we'll go ahead and start with Raylan. Raylan, right? Raylan, we'll start with you, brother, man. Let's go around the table. We'll talk about what incarceration, mental health, the effects that it's had on you.
Oh man, it fucked me up something decent. But I'm gonna get some of y'all that share with you guys. I just want to ask you a question. What is the most precious resource on this planet? What is the
Time,
most precious resource on this planet?
time.
Said time. What you say, big homie?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking the whole time.
Time, man. For me,
Boss
time.
lady, Marcelo.
Yeah, I would say time, definitely.
I mean, all those are great answers, but for me, the most precious resource on this planet is my brain. It's my brain. Because if my brain is damaged, if my brain is not healed properly, I can't enjoy the time that God allows me to be on this earth. I came up with a theory while I was locked up all the time I've done, and I labeled it progressive traumatic prison stress syndrome. Progressive traumatic prison stress syndrome, PPSS. And with this theory, with this book, I explain why recently released incarcerated citizens has a 76.6% chance of recidivating within the first 5 years of release. I label it, I define it, I use my life experience to expound upon these four prongs, how in jail you lose your voice, your identity, and all the physical and witness trauma that you sustain amalgamates you into a walking carceral time bomb that's ready to explode to return back to a world where everything makes sense. The little tools you got. For your viewers, anybody paying attention, you go a copy of my book right here. You can go on Amazon, check me out. But after I use my life experience to break down those four components of PPSS, I show how it's different from post-traumatic stress disorder. Because somebody say, ain't no nigga in jail. And then it's just post-traumatic stress disorder, renamed. So I show how PTPSS intersects with post-traumatic stress disorder and how it stands independently alone in regards to mental health. And after I do that, I give doable solutions to the problem. Because, man, my comrades back there need help. I still need help, but they in worse shape than I am because they not free. And one of the doable solutions that I came up with in my book right here that y'all can get from Amazon, like, say for instance, I lose a family member, loved or free, but one of my incarcerated homies died in one of my jail cells. The common theme in incarceration is you to suck it up, stay hard, keep your heart back. You don't have time to mourn. You'll lose yourself in one of them jail cells. But that's robbing me of my humanity. It's turning me into more and more of an animal. So suggested is that once I give in and I've lost somebody close to me, that I let the chaplain know or have a grief counselor, and I go to the chaplain and get an hour over there to move my loss. In addition to that, I can pick 3 or 4 incarcerated on me to go on with me. We can decide to put a picture up of the deceased, or we can decide to sit there silent or let the reverend speak on behalf of the person who's called to the grave. So what is that doing to me as a human being? That's reminding me of my humanity. And it's telling me that, man, my feelings matter. And the grieving process is just a normal process of life. To God we belong, and to him we are returned. So when you in a position like I am, you suggested the Illinois Department of Corrections, you got to make it cost effective. So how I lay down the game with that, so IDOC, if I got this proper space to grieve, if only for an hour, I'll be less homicidal and less suicide. And IDOC language equates to an overall safer institution. But to answer your question, another question you asked, you said, what was my biggest issue being released after all the time I've done? One of the biggest issues that was supposed to me was connecting with my mom. You know, when I was 18 years old, I come back a 47-year-old man. You see what I'm saying? And my mom didn't know what type of man this the prison industrial complex sent back to her. So she was kind of standoffish. And, you know, prison makes you hyper aware, hyper paranoid. So I'm standoffish. Man, I've been out 5 months. Man, 3 weeks ago, for the first time in a long time, my mama told me she'll bust my motherfucking head. And I felt so good about that. I've been waiting for so many years to hear my mama say she'll bust my head. Sorry for the language, boss lady. But that was my hardest thing, reconnecting back with my mom. Because I'm a mama's boy. Through and through. Ain't no shame in that. I love my mama. So her to talk to me as she talked to me when I was a young man growing up in the house, man, I cried just thinking about it. And I'm going to pass the mic to Rue, man. I don't want to take too much time.
That's deep. That's deep. You got to go get that book. Go get that real. I'm gonna go.
How did the system impacted me? Well, first time I came around, I kind of like went off into a vent, right? I was kind of venting and just saying how I felt at the time. However, like, it's easy to talk about how things were hard on me, right? And then they continuously be hard because it's trauma that don't go away. You know, I mean, just the other day, I was chilling at home, and my aunt, she don't eat meat, and so she was making some food with soy, right? And I wanted to get up and run about the building, but I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck on house arrest. I couldn't run nowhere. So I had to sit there and just deal with it. So it's like little stuff with me, little stuff that happen here and there, you know, that just constantly remind me and bring me back. And trauma constantly reminds me and bring me back. And it's like sometimes the hardest thing for me is trying to break away. Like I want to be done with that part of my life. I want to be done with that version of my life. But it's hard. It's hard because those little things always remind you of what you shouldn't do. And constantly play in your mind. And constantly try to hold you back into it. And hold in mind of that 12 by 12 box that you was in for a long time. It's something that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with gradually. But I'm making it happen, you know? And something else, you know, is like oftentimes brothers come into the system and they find Muhammad, Jesus, or Buddha. And that's all cool, right? That's all cool. That's much respect to them brothers who were able to find that source of being able to cope with the type of religion. But helped me was education. Like I found so much relief when I went in through these classes and coming out here. That has been my main thing of being able to cope with it. And it's a shame because we don't have as many places in carceral settings that give you a source of meaningful education. They try to just spoon feed us bullshit in there and make it look good on paper. And that's one of the beauties of Win Recovery is that I come into this organization and I see that they not just trying to make it look good on paper. Like we really in the field trying to help people that need help. And we really doing what we do. And everybody in our team is has been impacted in one way or another by the system. Whether some of us not all of us been incarcerated in our team, right? But we still been impacted by the system because, you know, we've as many studies show, trauma is contagious, right? So when you're dealing with addiction and you're dealing with people that's going through stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that they know somebody who has been incarcerated. And that trauma, which is a mental health issue, it rubs off on them. It rubs off on them, and that it becomes contagious. So, like, Like, when I could sit here for hours and talk about the system,
No
and
doubt.
what's wrong with it, and that's all cool. But I'm hoping that after doing this, that we catch somebody's ear, and we get somebody to not only listen to what we're saying, but let's start coming up with solutions. Because right now, talking about it is great. The platform is beautiful, but this is a call for everybody that's listening. That there's all kinds of issues that we go through, and we need help. We need help on coming up with solutions. We need help on getting out there and getting in the field, and not just looking good on paper and making it happen.
That's what's up, brother. We're gonna pass it back to Marcelo. Marcelo, talk about, man, what were the mental health effects of you being in prison, brother? And then we're gonna also get Salo Jr. but we're gonna get Pina in on this as well.
It's such a deep question because there's so many levels. It's like an onion. There's so many layers to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes it's hard. Just from my own experience, it's hard for people to understand unless you actually been in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we got Marcelo.
Yes,
We want to hear it from somebody that was in that position.
Motherfucker, I was in it too. That's what I'm saying. That's why I understand. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different layers to this onion. You know what I mean? It's hard to, like, if I see it, take a deep breath. I'm understanding. We can all give a big, broad statement. You know what I'm saying? But there's levels to this shit. There are levels to what mentally it does to you. Like, it really does some real fucked up shit to you. And there's nothing within that system to help you either grieve or to motivate yourself or to do anything, to do shit. There's nothing there. And then to be thrown back out and being told, all right, you're free. There you go. And you having to deal with that shit. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of layers to it. There's no one right answer.
Go ahead, Marcelo. Tell us.
My case, trust issues.
Right.
Like literally, I'm like rude. My first encounter with the law was 10 years old. Age 11. Then at age 12, I didn't come home till I was age 15. My first adult case, I was 16 years old. By age 20, I've been to the penitentiary 3 times. In this state alone. So now I'm thinking about mental health, right? Damn it, I was raised by the fucking system. And so when I first came home, first doing my incarceration in my 20 years, one of the things that I did, the day I called my case, a 15-year-old kid that happened to be, at that time, like he said, we came with status.
Right.
When we were in our neighborhoods, we had status. We had anti status. So we saw this allegation, seeing this child that only been in the gang for probably 2 weeks. An individual that I didn't want to bring in because an individual that had more status, I allowed that to happen. I had no face.
Right.
So I saw my obligation. He saw his obligation for us to go and do exactly the same thing this individual just did to his child. So going through the system, immediately when I was found guilty, I told my son's mother to go and find somebody else. Not taking into consideration what she was going through.
Right.
Because she hadn't been in the system like myself. That right there just shows you the state of mind of me. And I'm now turning into a soldier.
Yeah.
Because now I'm know that I'm going to get all this years. So I got to prep myself to now be in the trenches with number gorillas.
Yes.
So coming into the system in Cook County, now I got to turn my heart cold. Because that's the only defense mechanism I have. That right there alone is a mental health disaster.
Yeah.
Because now I'm turning wicked and cold, even worse. Like Raymond said, abandon that humanity. And only turning my critical conscience on to be able to commit more crimes in the penitentiary. Because now I gotta maneuver the police. I gotta carry a knife. Because I'm gonna make a home to Angel Lewis de Jesus and Norma Velasquez. That was my goal. And when he was born, my thing was that I gotta make it to my home to my child. So how do you turn yourself off from an individual that was living? That's when people say, man, you emotional. I cry, I shed a tear quick. Not understanding the guilt that I carry in my heart. So until you walk my path and see the coolness in my heart, you will not understanding why the tears run down my cheeks. So now, when I came home, forward now 21 years later, I decided my family, I could have went with my family in the north side of Homer Park. I decided to go to the south side. Through Precious Blood Ministry. They gave me an apartment. I was in an apartment by myself. It was the first floor. So now I'm sleeping with a big ass knife. Literally. To the point that to this day, I have multiple partners in the past. Even my current fiance. I wake up in the middle of the night choking. Literally like I'm drowning. Because I still got that pain that I used to find myself in a jail cell, waking up in the middle of the night by the toilet in my ringing out my throat. Explaining my new cellies, listen. So when you hear me saying the bitch word, sleeping, or you hear me fighting, I'm walking to the door, pacing like I'm pacing, and I'm going back to sleep, don't mind me. Because I learned myself. I learned that I'm going through the cycle of lunacy. I'm psychotic. I'm going through a lot of stuff that I don't understand. And it was not like what Gerardo said, that it wasn't until I was allowed the education that allowed me to understand my own self. It was not through social science, psychology, reading this book that I was actually reading myself. Because the stories that was moving in my own story. And then now, in relationships, I don't trust no one. So it's affecting me the way I love the woman I love. Because I love her to death. But because of my insecurity, because of my own unresolved trauma that leads me to my insecurity, I don't know how to trust her. And I know she loved me like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So he asked how it affects not just yourself, but family and those around you. Because you understand, you understand the people daily. Every morning when I drive, every time I drive, I'm always coughing at people. Like I'm always going through. Like I'm the best driver. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you that I'm not. So that alone, that illusion of me thinking that is something wrong with everybody else, not me.
That's the problem. That's the trust and believe. Man, salute to you, bro. For real. Like, my kids call me the biggest crybaby on the planet. And one of the things, like, I was already dealing with shit before I went to prison. You know what I'm saying? Mental shit that I was dealing with already. And when I got to prison, just like you said, you know what I mean? You have to literally turn your feelings on having to adjust to that shit. Like, my wife used to wake up. If she touched me while I was sleeping, I'm swinging. And that shit went on for years. When we hopping up out of doing the same shit. I only did a 4-piece. You know what I'm saying? But the same shit. Now, mind you, I'm still drinking. I stayed sober for a while after I got out. That's only because I had to. Because the system still had me. Once they took that X monitor and everything off my ass, I was back at it. You know what I mean? The thing is, crazy shit is I stopped drinking 8 months ago. I had him, shit, congratulating you when it's 10 years down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Every day.
But I feel that and I appreciate that. But even something like that. 'Cause I haven't been to, you know, it's been fucking 18 years. You know what I'm saying? But the ramifications for me being in prison still hold true today. My kids don't understand. My wife don't understand it. Shit, I'm barely starting to understand it because I quit drinking and now everything is on my face. I can't hide behind the bottle anymore. You know what I mean? And I have to deal with shit. And I was talking to my sister today. My sister did time too. She said she might pop in. And one of those things, she had went to a service today at church and said something about, I was telling Visible about it earlier, about the path that God puts you on, taking accountability and shit like that. And it's like, one of the things that I've always been saying is like me taking accountability for shit. In my mind, I thought that was enough. But it's not enough. And what's gonna happen also too with that accountability is the pain that I gave. You know what I'm saying? And I have to eat that shit. I have to eat what I gave to them and not expect them. Like I told my wife today, this morning, we were driving to go pick up my buddy. And I told her, I said, you know, one thing that I'm beginning to realize is that, you know, maybe not, like when I quit drinking, everybody thought I needed to go to a rehab and I needed to do whatever. My mind doesn't work like that. My mind said, fuck it, I'm done, and that's it. And I told her, I said, you know, what I'm beginning to realize is that maybe my mind just wasn't good. And I shouldn't, my expectation for somebody else to come along that I move along is unrealistic. And they're still seeing me as this person. And they're still treating me as this person, which mentally fucks me up every day because I'm over here like, hey, you don't see me over here? You're a good dude. You know what I'm saying? And then their mind is like, I knew you was going to say that shit. I knew you know what I mean? Everything is, I knew you was going to do this. I knew you was going to do that. And the whole time, that's not really how I'm doing it. Or how I feel like how I feel. But then again, trust issues, shit like that. I never had really trust issues until I went to college. I never had issues, at least I thought. You know what I mean? But some of those things are underlying anyways before you even get there. And it just expounds and makes it much, much bigger. You know what I'm saying? But I hear you 100%. I understand. I'm sure my guys here on the panel and everything understand that shit. And sometimes we don't realize how that shit affects people around us. You know what I mean? Because even now, I'm 56. And so it took me up until 8 months ago to fucking say, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? And I tell my wife all the time, shit ain't right now, but it is what it is, and I have to deal with it. I have to deal with the shit that the shit house that I built, so to speak. And with all of that shit, it fucks with my head. It really, really fucks with my head. And I'm only 8 months and I'm trying to deal with all of this shit. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? The guilt of every goddamn day. I'm waking up every day going, what the fuck is going on? Feeling like I'm losing my goddamn mind. Feeling like all of this crazy ass shit. And that's one of the reasons why we do this fucking show. Because somebody's gonna hear your story. Somebody's gonna hear your story. It's gonna impact them in a way. I feel, in a very positive way. This is exactly why you do what you do. It's exactly why my man wrote the book. You know what I'm saying? And to me, this shit is powerful as fuck. This is something that never really gets talked about. The mental side of prison. You know, being incarcerated and being fucking released. There's a lot of shit with that. So I don't really feel like there's really one solid ass answer to everything. Like, you hit it right on the head, I might hit it right on the head, she hits it right. We all hit it right on the head, but all of our answers and all of our shit is gonna be different, but it's gonna encompass kind of the same thing that we understand. Like, I'm listening to you and I'm like looking at you in your eyes and shit, and I'm like, man, I know exactly where the fuck he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, I've been there, I know it. And when you know something like that, it affects you differently.
Let's keep the mic moving though. Bethany, tell us what your take on it is.
Oh, I'm so glad it's my turn. No, I believe that there's some differentiation in regards to males and women.
Right.
But in this case, you said something. There's mental before you even go into those. I think pre-carceration. What is it? What is real in pre-carceration?
Progressive traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah. So it's, there, before you go to prison, there's already some lining issues, but not even knowing it. But I believe that in my experience, what I've seen with males is the acknowledgement that there might be a mental illness, especially with certain populations, that there's this strong stigma of what mental health is. Or what mental health
Looks like.
yeah, exactly. And so of course there's this negative stigma with it. So nobody wants to say, oh, I have this, or I'm depressed, or I have anxiety. And then some people don't know. But what I find with women is they're already suffering from the mental already. Then they go into how do you deal with that? Because are you taking medication? You know, are you trying to handle it yourself? Are you using substances? And then they end up in prison because of the wreckage of the whole using substances. And when they get out of prison, they don't even get a 30-day supply of medication that they've been on, you know, during that period of time. So they come home and they come to me, and they don't have enough medication. There aren't enough psychiatrists that they can go to. There aren't enough therapists, and so they just get thrown out there with just getting they do get a prescription, but they don't get anybody to talk to, you know, to get down to
It's
the
like a
bottom.
goodbye package. Like, see ya, here you go. Here's 30 days worth of whatever. Peace out.
You'll be on it, and
They'll
you'll
go pump
be
your
on
ass
it.
full of drugs. You want that prison.
And but I think that time dealing with like my girlfriend's brother, he got out of jail and just didn't have no one to follow up with him in the months after, and I feel like that's a big part of it, right? Like there's on, like you said, there's just like that limited amount of here you go, and then it's like peace, figure this shit out, figure it out health wise, figure it out mentally, figure it out financially, every single way. I was watching HBO Crimes Part 2, and they let him out in the 80s with like $878, which is probably like $2,000 back in the day. And I was just thinking, man, that doesn't happen. Like, you don't get out with $2,000 from prison. Like, what? You get out with a couple dollars to catch the Greyhound back to the city that you're from or whatever. We've got some other guests in the building as well. We got Dana that's off camera. Dana already has a mic in her hand. So Dana, what do you feel the mental health effects are of being incarcerated?
Well, you know, I really related a lot to what Marcelo was talking about. You know, for me, I grew up in a really violent home, and so I felt trapped. It's almost like I experienced kind of like incarceration in the home. Then when I got locked up, right, so my addictions were because the drugs took me somewhere else. And you know, I can relate. I got out when I was almost 20 years old, right? I set out the door with a Social Security check. I had never had a job. I had never had a job. I had never dated. I had never. My last year was in 73. And so I got out, right, and tried to mingle with other people my age, and I had nothing in common. We're talking about dating. We're talking about their jobs. We're talking about their family. All these things that I had never experienced. And then, you know, after the years in the penitentiary into a max time, you know, when I think about it, I see, when I picture it in my mind, I picture somebody in the back of the cell that when they open the gate, doesn't know how to walk out. Right? They want to stay in there because it's safe. And that's kind of how it impacted. And I want to say about the women, that's a lot different than the men. All that education, the women do not have.
Do not.
Most of the women come out, and unless your grade level is so low, excuse my French.
No, speaking on.
The women don't have shit in prison. They don't get medical treatment. A lot of them have a lot of female problems that they can't get treated. You know, we also talk about the compounded problem with women being separated from their babies. You know, I was incarcerated at the time when they came and gave me birth, trained I remember there was men, right? And then those kids ended up in the system because the fathers aren't around. You know, women face a much more compacted trauma system impacted. It's not the education. And then even if you have a really low grade, you know, to where you don't get in the ABE classes, I think they're called, or whatever. You can't look if you even get really minor. You get a C grade, you can't go to the library or anything. So all that stuff for women is really nonsense.
Right.
And so what happens is and if you don't have any life skills or whatever, people act out, right? What do you do with all that?
Yeah, no, definitely, Dana. Thank you very much for your perspective on that. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna switch out Bethany with Salo. We got Salo that's off camera, and they're gonna switch real quick because we want to get Salo's perspective. He's actually bringing a different perspective. Actually, we might have that perspective, but I want to bring it from him live. You know, my dad was in jail, and I believe we might have all had a father that was in jail at some point, but we want to bring that perspective.
Let's get it, nephew.
We want to bring that perspective in. So we got Salo in the building. Salo, what's up, brother?
What's up, y'all? What's
So
up?
go ahead, man. This is your time, brother. We want to talk about that, man. We want your perspective on the mental health that you went through, man, for when your father was in jail, brother. So go ahead, man. This is your time. Speak your truth, bro.
So, I'm Marcelo De Jesus Jr. Born in 2002. My father here was indicted in 2001, November 2001. My mom found out that she was pregnant with me, and 9 months later I was born. And throughout the years, you know, I've heard a lot of different stories about the type of man that my father was. Wasn't easy, you know, growing up. I did have a father figure, and you know, he taught me a lot of different things. He raised me to be the man that I am today, but the trauma that does come with it isn't easy to bear either, because you sit and you think, what would my life be like if this person was actually around and this person was here to teach me all the things that this person is teaching me. So yeah, I was raised by many and loved by many, but the love never really carried over because it wasn't the love that I was necessarily looking for. It was very hard, especially, you know, going to school, just going through all these accolades and expecting to see someone there that, you know, cannot be there because of the situation that was presented. So growing up in that type of environment, growing up in that type of mental baggage, it is difficult, and you know, you go through a lot of different situations where you wish you could have a conversation and wish you could bring all this pain and all this misunderstanding to a person, but you have to keep it within because that person isn't there to necessarily guide you or help you with any of that. So you do go through a lot of different phases of anger, a lot of different phases of depression, a lot of different phases of anxiety. And one thing that I feel like most of that stuff helped me with was to create and be creative. I feel like having creativity helped me with all of that, and it gave all of that a purpose and a reason. And for that, I'm thankful for the life that I was given, and you know, everything that has been put in my way wasn't a curse, but more of a blessing. And it helped me be the person and the man that I am today.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I think we've all been. We were talking on the phone earlier, brother, and I was telling you about how, like, my father was in jail for at least the first 7 or 8 years of my 14 years, and how it affected me, man, because I was in the penitentiary picture since I was a little kid, and that feeling that you were talking about expecting somebody to be there, expecting a certain somebody to be there, and it wasn't there, and how it affected you, man. Do you think that sometimes, like, the challenges that we're given in life or the things that happen were supposed to happen to make us who we are today? I know you said, how would I have been if he would have been here What do you envision that life?
Honestly, I feel like it was necessary for him to be the person that he is today. Reason being, I feel like if he didn't go down the path that he went down and wasn't caught, or whatever the case may have been, he wouldn't be this intellectual being that we have sitting in front of us. All the situations and all the different things that were put in his path made him this person that he is today. And if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for him leaving and going down this path, he probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I definitely do believe in terms of what was necessary in life, and for him to have the blessings that he has now, he had to go through all the hardship and the years of being gone for him to be this man to this man to me.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think that a moment that we have to acknowledge that's happening on camera is Marcelo sitting here with his son and acknowledging those moments. And you know, it hits my heart, brother. It hits my heart, man, because I went through the same things, bro. And I feel your story, man. And I always told my dad, look, man, I didn't live your life. I wasn't in there. I don't know the things that you went through. I can't judge you based on like the shit that you went through when you were a teenager, because if my daughters blame me for the shit I did when I was a teenager, I'd be broken. You know what I mean? And it's like there's just that fine line of accepting like responsibility and just acceptance in both of those situations. So I salute both of you brothers, man, for sitting here, you Cello and Marcelo, man, for sitting here and having this moment here, bro, and just being able to be transparent, because like I told y'all, that's the biggest part of our show, is being able to be transparent here. The show's been about us, it's been about Heat Detector, it's been about me, it's now about Cello and Marcelo tonight, man, and this is an amazing moment. Cello, what do you think are, because I feel like this is important, brother, to wrap this up for the other young gentlemen and young ladies that have been in this situation. How do you come out of this situation, brother? What's your best advice to say, all right, this is what I did to just be better with what life gave me? Like, you know, how were you able to mend things with your father? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people, a lot of men things with their mother or men things with their father. Can you help them with that?
So, one thing I can say is from the jump, no matter when it starts, because for me, it started at the very beginning. It started, you know, right out the gate. I was born, and he was already gone. So one thing I can say for the people who start later on in life and are looking at those people with the emotions that they already have, that they already know, and they already believe. For me, it was easier, but not necessarily easier, because I didn't have these preconceived notions. I didn't have these beliefs. I didn't have what was right and what was wrong, and a sense of morality. But one thing that I can say is focus on what you love. Focus on doing things that bring you joy, and envision doing those things with the people that you love. Envision showing those people, look, this is what I have done, this is what I've created, or this is where I've gotten, this is what I've learned. Because at the end of the day, you know, every choice isn't the choice that was right at that moment, but we have to accept it for what it is.
10 o'clock already. What time is 8:30, 9:30?
You're only gonna be.
Oh, this is gonna go on to 11:30, I think.
But if we keep looking towards the past, you know, it's only gonna keep you drowning. It's only gonna keep you complacent. So it's all about looking towards the future. And one thing that I did to cope with all of that is just create music. That's my thing. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go down that path of being creative or whatever the case may be. Maybe write you a piece of paper and, you know, throw it away. Like, at the end of the day, don't keep feelings bottled up, and don't blame those people for the decisions that they made, because at that moment it was just it was a reaction to the trauma and the hardship that they had went through in their past. And one thing that we can't do is judge people for that.
No, for sure, brother. Marcelo, I want to tap in with you, brother. We spoke about, you talked about the mental health ramifications that you went through being incarcerated. Can you talk about what it took for you mentally, brother, to get back in touch with Sella Jr.? Well, can you talk about what that was like coming out and meeting him and having to re-engage that relationship, or to engage that relationship because you were gone before he was born? What was that like, brother, coming out and seeing your son, a grown man, and trying to build that relationship with him?
I'm gonna start by the first individual that I went to see when I came home was him.
What's up? Take your time, bro.
Hey, for the record, ain't nothing wrong with crying. Ain't nothing wrong.
This hits home for a lot of us, brother.
Men because they cry. Don't let it out, bro. Let it out. Ain't no shame in that.
I'm eating dinner, right? And he's sitting it's me, my mother, and my two sisters. My older sister is like a mother to me. She about 11, 12 years old. She's always like raised me. Mentality of when I was second mom. And I remember them telling me, you might get in trouble. Was straight from the joint to the whole site, right? And I'm like, I'm already posting stuff on social media. If I risk my freedom for this Jibarito, I'm definitely gonna risk my freedom. Go see him. But he didn't tell you that he got a 2-year-old baby. I'm a grandparent. So my thing was that I was getting two for the price of one. Wow. Actually, because I had the mother, my woman I love in the world, my mother, and I get to hold my granddaughter.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So part of that was I love me and you talking about like we've seen I cross each other from each other and you and I sitting there and I'm picking your brain and I'm immediately talking about how Gerardo and Cello are talking about making because they want to bring more awareness to Win Recovery. Because once you're in that center, you feel the love in the other one. You feel that it's like getting paid for playing your favorite sport or watching the best movie. So sitting and being able to understand.
Take your time, y'all. Anybody that's watching, y'all, this show is live. It's live every single Sunday at 8:30 p.m. It's a check-in. And this is what it is. It's unadulterated, man. It's just free, man. We talk about it. That's what we're doing today.
So me picking your brain and you telling me, listen, I would like to bring you and your family members, the family members to the class and talking about this concert. We was talking about asking if you wanted to come to the center because once you come there and sit in the conference room, you feel the need of feeling special, professional, sitting in the big chairs and big old table, and we all sitting and we still eat. In one way or the other, we got our own tasks, our own family. And so immediately going back, the conversation that you and I had about my life in prison, first hand life in prison, was was a documentary that I was part of.
Shout out to WTCW. Y'all make sure to go look that up. Y'all type it in on YouTube. Type in firsthand life after prison. And y'all can see Marcelo de Jesus Velasquez on his piece. Beautiful piece.
You notice that I was only out a few months, and you saw the little porn like they didn't hide it, and I wanted to hide it. That was perfect. I told him just like that. Listen, talk to me like, oh, do you want to edit this? And I'm like, no, don't edit nothing. I want people to see the raw and uncut. How me hated.
That was the first time I saw you on camera, and I thought it was so significant that moment that y'all had that one piece of that 27 minutes and 35 second documentary was the most important piece to me because it got to show your humanity back with your son and what he dealt with and what you dealt with, and a little bit of like backlash, like a little bit of bump ahead, which is expected, right?
The thing is that that's part of me being able to understand that I've been hurt, and that typically hurt people.
Yeah.
It's the cycle of we are dangerous people. We like to and so being able to see him come to win recovery and allow me to pick his brain. Allow me to work with my son and treat him as my friend. Because I realized that I was not in his life. I realized that I was a business to him. And Betty came at me a bunch of times. Stop treating him like a child. Because it's now you in a different arena.
Yeah.
And now you gotta allow him to be the man that he is. And I wasn't saying that originally when he came there. I was always pissed off because it's like you just had a meeting with that meeting. You could have got a full-time job. Where's my granddaughter? She gotta be raised right. And he missing that appointment and me going like, looking at him like, looking at to yourself. But then I'm looking at myself and understanding that when I was his age, I was packing big ass drugs. So the fact that able to provide for his daughter without not once getting out of the game, without never going to the system, going to jail. You know, when I found out that my trauma, helping him out, and I helped him get back in school and get his high school, and he's sitting there being able to see my son.
Being able to see your son become greater, man, what you and the things that you did, and you know what, brother, in the honor of the respect of man, I also want to acknowledge, man, I went through a little bit of your way, brother, and I want to acknowledge your stepfather, man, and I want to say rest in peace to him, brother. I want to do that for the show, because it takes a man to step up and do something like that, brother, and just in the realm of respect of man, I want to just salute that, because that takes a very special person. Just want to say that.
Yeah, and to add what he was saying, one thing that I can say is to the people who are impacted by this, and the people who are impacted by you know, whether it's their parents, their big brother, their cousin who goes to prison, being impacted doesn't mean that you always have to have the wrong choice because you're angry or you're upset. You know, our trauma is there not to hurt us or not to make us go down the same path, people that we see going down these paths. But really, it's there as a guide to show you like if I make that same decision, if I make that same move, I'm gonna end up in that same position.
Exactly.
So realistically, to add to all of that, the reason why I was never in any games, the reason why I never sold drugs, the reason why I never did any of the things that most of the people around me were doing was because I seen the positions that they were in after the fact. So to see be a part of it, it only made me more weary and more stronger, more perceptive.
Yeah.
And to see everything and see how everything unraveled, it made me go down maybe one.
It made you look at it, brother. We all went through things in our life that made us kind of stray away from it. My mom passed away through the drugs. So and I won't get into it, but I won't get deep into it. But that made me kind of be like every time there was drugs offered, I was like, man, all the little things in my life, to see my mom, see my uncle, see my family members, kind of. So I think that, like in a weird, crazy way, it's just the way it happens. It just moves our lives. You're a positive. That case, and you see, you didn't want to be. I don't want to be like this. But I mean, that's what we are. That's what we are. Everything that we went through makes us every single moment. You know it or not, So these little things that happen, things happen most in our life, and I look back at it and look back at it. I used to say, why is this happening? But I adopted instead of why is this happening? I adopted. What is this? What is this trying to teach me? Do that, bro. Instead of why is this happening? I got a bunch of tired of my dad in jail, and my mom on drugs. Why is this happening? But instead of turning into a lesson, it's trying to teach me. It made me become who I am. So I salute you. You are today. He, Bethany, we all lived our life. Everything is important. We've had a good show today, man. What name Mark are we on?
Man, 120.
We're about a buck 20. So what I want to do, man, is
apologize to everybody about the sound. I apologize. And get this here. I personally feel this is a story. That's not a story. That's a story. Really something that I'm talking about. And I really appreciate you guys being here and telling your story because I always feel like that these are the types of to be heard, need to be this is real life shit. And there are people saying shit right now as we speak. Your story is gonna affect. Your story is gonna affect. His story is gonna affect. That's going to affect everybody in this. Everybody's story is gonna affect somebody. It's important that it's heard. And I want Val to come back as soon as possible. Especially when I get back. That goes for you guys. Too.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, for sure. I really want you guys to come back.
I think we're gonna to be honest, this is part 3 and part, and I really feel part 6. So we're gonna come back. He has that mic around for final thoughts. Almost dying.
No, I always say, we do final thoughts for everybody. I'm actually starting off this instead of ending it.
Okay, start it off.
Somebody come back on this chair.
All right, we'll go around the table. We're gonna go Marcelo, pass it on to Anthony, and I'll close it off.
Okay, cool. Okay, I don't have to get up. Great, fine. Works for me.
All right, so let's go ahead and start it off.
So my final thoughts really understanding that you're not alone. Understanding that your journey is your journey. Understanding there are people out there. They may not have walked, but they understand the shoes. They know what you feel like.
It's hard for me to understand you.
I don't even know if I remember what I just said, hopefully you can hear me. I'm having a lot of trouble audio today. But I'm just saying that everybody has a journey. And some of us know that journey. Some of us understand that journey. And it's important that we speak about this type of stuff. It's important that we try to touch people. about not just this topic, any topic, but this topic, because this topic is more, this is really important, because this topic affects so many people, and it's one never gets spoken about. Yeah. Ever gets talked about. And we have these struggles every day. Anybody that's incarcerated has struggles every fucking day. And I'm gonna end this by saying this every show. I can't do shit about yesterday. But one thing I can do, I step my foot out that bed and touch the ground, that I made today better yesterday. That's all I can do. Better than I was yesterday. And I'm in that like that. So we gotta go around the table. We're gonna take briefly with our final moments. I'm gonna tap and we're out of virtually with the interview. So Raylan, Raylan, first brother, one second. You go first with your final thoughts, and then we'll do Raylan will finish off with everybody that's here.
I think I heard you say something about final thoughts. The mic catching up. So I'm just, man, I just want to thank you guys for having me here, man. And I need to highlight, man, my incarcerated comrades, our incarcerated comrades. They need help, man. Mental and emotional help. And this is a nice space for our voices to get heard. And just thank you for having me, man. That's my final word, man.
Much love, Gerardo. It's all you.
He's muted himself. There you go.
First of all, thank y'all for having me. And the story that Marcelo Jr. told was very touching. I seen it from the outside of the box looking in, and I've seen it the whole way through. And I'm touched and I'm happy to hear them be able to be together right now, because I've seen the pains that my comrade went through, and it's very motivating and very touching for them to be able to be together like they is. However, there's a flip side to that story too. We was talking about mental health. The issue for mental health today was for incarcerated individuals and the mental health that they go through. Well, yeah, it's rough on a kid to have to go through that. It's very touching. I'm very touched by it. But there's a flip side to every coin. And being an incarcerated parent and having to watch your child grow up from a box has a mental strain on you that's unexplainable. Then having to do so, watch your child grow up and be brought up by another man, because that's usually what happens. That's something that I don't think nobody could ever really get over. That's something that is very hard. And hey, we went through it. We chose to do what we did, but at the same time, we didn't see that part of that. I'm pretty sure that if we did, we wouldn't have chose to do what we done, because that is, for me, because I got a son too. For me, that was the worst and the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, was to watch my son be brought up by another man. And so, we talking about mental health. That's something that has a mental toll on somebody. And there's all kinds of issues that we didn't have the ability to just put out there, because, like my man in the yellow said, it's many layers to that onion. You know what I'm saying? There's many layers to that onion. But I appreciate the time. I appreciate the platform, and I hope that somebody heard my call for help for my brothers that's locked up, man. Free the guys.
That's what's up, man. Free the guy. We'll go real quick. We're gonna go on camera with Marcelo. You can final thoughts briefly on today's show.
Life, freedom, peace, being able to rise every morning, being able to amend at least to a man, are wrong. The fact that I'm in a position right now to help others, it's a win-win. It's a go run with that. So I go with this. Never, ever look down at a person who really understand what that person is going through. Not that it's okay, even when you stand up doing so. But it's never okay to look down at a person. You never know the circumstances.
Solo, what you got, brother?
My final note thing that I do want to say is make sure you go pick up Radio Guilford's book on Amazon. Make sure you do that. And follow Window Recovery. Yeah, you do that. And
Smoking like a
Good looking nephew.
I got to. Shout out to the What's Love, gave me a platform, gave me a footing in this world. So, final words. Be yourself. Be who God created you to be. But also, you don't focus too much on the hardships. Living every day is a new day. Wake up and take a breath. It's beautiful. Just look beyond what is right in front of you, and let the circumstances of today define the circumstances of tomorrow.
That's great advice, brother. And we got back in recovery. Final thoughts.
Song?
Yeah.
Okay. No, final thoughts is simple fact, just being able to hear be about something that was at once taboo, and the only reason I am because of recovery, and the fact that this platform will allow us to other individuals to let them know that you are needing help when you get out of prison. If you've been out of prison, you don't need help when you're incarcerated, but it doesn't matter. Like, let us help you. That's what's so. I just wanted to say that we are, like I said, we all this right away. Let us carry the weight with you. So it's 1-872-283-1305. 872-283-1305. Thanks.
Recovery IG _recovery.
Hey, y'all make sure to go follow that page. Y'all can help me. Y'all know somebody that needs help. Y'all got a leak. Y'all got recovery. We're honored to have them today for the check-in, which is a mental health podcast.
Hey, thank you.
We're gonna talk to one more person. My final thoughts. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Dana, who's been graciously off camera for the entire waiting patiently. Dana, we want your final thoughts on today's show. End it off, and we're out of here.
I just want to thank y'all for having me. I wish that would have been more help like when I first got out. I want that people understand that process. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that I have.
That's what's up.
That's such a blessing to have anybody be able to be in that situation, inspire one day to say to yourself, I want to be able to help people that are in that situation. My final thought, since I'm taking
normally heat closes off the show. But I want to say in general, my final thoughts, the show's final thoughts, because I speak for the show. We are so grateful and so elated to be able to help one or three or 100 people that listen to this show. And are able to get something, get message that everybody gave so powerful. Bethany, we had Subtle, we had Marcelo, we had Marcelo, we had the heat detector. We've all been affected in some way. So my final thought is that in the end, when I went through what I went through, having to deal with my father again, and bring our worlds together again, and I still say this to this day. My dad's been out of jail 20 years. But I say this to this day to remember that life is too short, man. For people that might be grudging against somebody that put them in that position, that was in jail. Remember, man, they don't know what those people went through. We're not in those situations. We don't know what they went. And life is too short. Make those connections, because you never know when life's gonna be over. You never know when it's your day. So make sure that you live every day. Forgave stuff to you, and try to those relationships, build your life from this day on. From a year and 18 months, 8 months, 7 months, I'm like, make that connection, build with those people, because life is too short, and it's never too late to give somebody. So everybody has to forgive, try to mend your relationship. This has been the check-in, every Sunday, every Sunday, and we are here. Come back and check in with us. We're having a couple audio difficulties. Man, trust and believe back on that 100% next week. We love y'all, everybody. It's your boy Jizzo, homie Heat Detector. We recover. Already know what it is, man. We love y'all. We'll be back next week.
Yeah,
Peace, y'all.
Everybody stay safe. Let's go.